We're watching a very high-class player.
This is when you know AB de Villiers is at his best.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday. I love Fridays. I don't know about you. I'm very excited because I'm wearing my Springbok jersey. It's our Springbok rugby team from South Africa, and they just arrived in the Rugby World Cup in France. There they are on the team bus. They're the pride of the nation. They've won 3 World Cups in 1995, 2007, and also 2019. They are the defending champions. There's our coach, Jacques Ninoba, our captain, Sia Kulisi, and some of the players, the big boy, Eben Etzebeth, Faf de Klerk. There's another Faf, if you didn't know it. There's 2 Fafs, one playing cricket and one rugby. Cheslin Colby, who scored that incredible try in last time's World Cup to beat England in the final. And it's just all happy vibes there in France. And we're happy over here in South Africa because we're incredibly excited, very nervous as well, because the World Cup is no jokes. As we all know, it's high pressure competition. But the boys look in good spirits. They've been playing some good rugby. Right? They recently beat the All Blacks by a record-breaking margin. So we're all confident, but not arrogant about it. We're not overly confident, if I can call it that. Quietly confident, as one of my coaches always used to tell me, be quietly confident. So you got to believe in yourself, but there's no need to cross that line where you become arrogant. Anyway, as I wait for all the questions to come in, we want to wish our Springboks all the very best for this World Cup. Bring it home, boys. And then I'm also going to be reacting, or we call it AB Reacts, to some posts on X. I heard the worst joke of my life just now, and because I've been trying to find out what do you call tweets on the new X platform. And this guy said, so on X, you call it a nightmare. So yeah, your X's is a nightmare. Anyway, lame joke. He's on our teams, but I'm not going to name and shame him. He's on form today. It made me smile a bit at least. But anyway, without further ado, let's move on to AB Reacts. I love this. Here we are, AB Reacts. Thanks for joining us on the 360 Live. Firstly, Ravi Shastri posting me on X. Excellent team picked. Come on, guys, get out here and kick some butt. Win, lose, part and parcel. Bottom line, enjoy, respect. I love Ravi Shastri. Always a very level-headed guy, an absolute legend of the game. We know what he used to do back in the day. We'll never forget. And then another Ravi, Ashwin, a little bit controversial at times, but I enjoy his posting. Go well, boys. Home World Cup is always special, and let's all of us back them to bring it home. Interesting brackets there. Very nice of him to tweet or to X or whatever you call it, to post. Keeping in mind that he was also a contender to be in that squad, very experienced campaigner. We know what he can do. And for him to tweet something or to post something positive about the team is, you got to give him credit for that. Except for those brackets, I don't know. Maybe he's talking about other people who are not so happy about the squad. Maybe he's having a bit of go at his own followers and encouraging them to get on and back the boys, you know, even though he's not in the squad. Anyway, I think India's squad is incredible, really, really strong. At home, Captain Rohit, we see the squad there. Hardik Pandya, vice captain. The only worry I have for India is playing at home. Last time they played in India, they won. There will be huge pressure. That's the only big obstacle, in my opinion. But if they can get rid of that and just free themselves up, I see no problem for India. Irfan Pathan, then. Good luck to all the players who got selected for the Team India upcoming World Cup. Go fearless, boys. And that is exactly the word I'm talking about. Forget about the pressure of the nation. That's something you can't control. We spoke about that in last week's show. Control what you can control. But go fearless. Fearless is the word I'm looking for the Indian squad. If they can do that, they'll go a long way and most probably lift that trophy. And then the Turbinator, Harbhajan Singh. Surprised not to see Yuzi in the World Cup squad for Team India. Pure match winner. Very, very true there. And we spoke about Yuzi in length as well. It's a difficult one because there's a lot of really high-class quality spinners in the Indian setup. So it's not easy to put your finger on who's the right guy and who not. What I can say is sometimes in World Cups, you need all your bowlers to be able to hold the bat. I'm not saying Yuzi can't hold the bat, but thinking of someone like Ravi Jadeja, even Kuldeep has shown that he can hit a ball and play around, So maybe there was a little bit of thinking behind that to make sure if India do get 7 down somewhere in the World Cup in the pressure game, there are guys that can get them across the line. That's the only thinking I have. Other than that, Yuzi is an outright match winner, and it's sad not to see him there. There's also some other squads that has been picked. We know South Africa recently playing in the Australian series, or against Australia rather. They lost last night. They had the game in the bag. They had Australia 7 down early. Australia were chasing 220 odds. So I think South Africa never really had enough runs last night. Even though Themba Bavuma, our captain, played an incredible knock. Very proud of him. But unfortunately still not enough. Got them down 7 early, but unfortunately Marnus Labuschagne, former South African, and I think Ashton Agar was batting with him, helped them to cross the line. There's the South African squad then, Themba Bavuma, the captain, and then we see some fresh names, Gerald Coetzee. It seems like South Africa went for the extra bowler, which is very interesting. They obviously back their batters, and I would too, because all the batters that are listed here, Rassie van der Dussen, David Miller, Aiden Markram, who else? Heinrich Klaassen, Quinton de Kock. All of them have played a lot of games in the IPL. Maybe only Reza Hendricks lacking there. He'll be the backup batter, I think, looking at the team from yesterday. But therefore, because of that, all the experience of the IPL, thank you very much, India, giving our players great experience over there in India in the IPL. All those players are experienced, and the coaching staff and the selectors decided, you know what, we're backing our boys who have played a lot of IPL games to go and get the job done there. Let's pick an extra bowler, because that could be an area where we might be lacking a bit. And therefore, you see the young face or young name of Gerald Coetzee there. I think it's a good squad. Very difficult to say how they're going to fare in this World Cup. We're certainly not favourites. We know that. There are lots of other teams that have been playing better cricket. India is playing at home as well. England have won the last World Cup. I think of Pakistan, Sri Lanka. There's so many teams. Australia. I mean, the list goes on. Guys who are, I think, maybe bigger favourites than us. So the nice thing about that is South Africa goes there with no pressure. So expecting some of those experienced campaigners do well, and to hopefully get us into the knockout stages. And who knows, anything can happen then. The nice thing is there will be no pressure on these boys. Let's move on then to the Australian squad, the last squad we're going to be covering, because I see there's lots of questions coming in, and I'm looking forward to interact with you guys again. There we see Pat Cummins, the captain. They played an iffy game last night. All of them looked a little bit, I would say, almost flat in a way, except for Marnus Labuschagne, who had a fantastic day out and getting them across the line. But it's understandable. I think some of them have been rested. Some have had niggles of late. So, the Australian teams in the World Cups are always there, always contenders, always competing. Ruthless team. When I get an opportunity to win a game of cricket, they generally 90% of the time cross the line. So I have a lot of respect for this team and for the country as a whole as well. Cummins captain, Steve Smith, very experienced. Alex Carey, Josh English. Sean Abbott, a bit of a surprise pick there, I would say, but he's in great form. I watched him in this T20 series, bowling really nicely, and once again, he can hold the bat. You need it in the World Cup. Ashton Agar can hold the bat. Cameron Green, great all-rounder. Josh, and then, the bowling attack of Cummins, Hazelwood, you've got Zampa there, Mitch Stark, Glenn Maxwell, Mitch Marsh. They can all bowl. All these, it almost feels like the whole Australian squad are all-rounders. And that's what makes them difficult to beat in World Cups, because they're never out of the game. Fantastic team. I think we've covered enough of the squads today of the Australian, South African, and also the Indian squad. It's a very exciting time for all cricket lovers. And please post in your questions. I've put it at the bottom there. If you've got anything to react to, please share it on Twitter and tag me, AB de Villiers 17. Alrighty, so we will slowly but surely move into the comment section here. I see there's lots of comments. There's also some Rugby World Cup questions over here, and I'm looking forward to cover some of that. So let's kick it off then. Just keep sending your questions in, guys, and I'll cover as many as I can. Let's have a look at the time. 16 minutes past 8 over here in South Africa. I've got to move in maximum 30 minutes from now. I have a golf day, a Springbok golf day. All right, we'll go with the first one, the Lionheart. Can you discuss the innings of Themba Bavuma and Marnus Labuschagne from yesterday's first ODI between South Africa and Australia? Very similar innings. I watched both these innings. Both pretty slow. Marnus's one was a little bit faster, purely because he knew exactly what he needed to do. It's always easier when you're batting second to control the game. You almost forget about the balls that you face. Where in Themba's position, he was all about survival and building partnerships with someone because he was losing wickets left, right, and center. So he had to take a bit more time to make sure they bat as long as possible. There's nothing worse in any cricket, in T20s and 50-over cricket, to get to overs 47 or in T20 cricket overs 18 and you bowled out. And you think to yourself, what could we have done with those extra 10 or 20 balls? So the first priority for Themba was to bat through and to make sure he builds partnerships. Fantastic heart he showed there, a lot of guts, and ultimately getting us a total which proved to be competitive. I thought, oh no, Bloemfontein wicket, it's flat, it's not enough, we are done and dusted. But our bowlers stood up, and it's a good sign for the World Cup that our bowlers put Australia under pressure. So I love the fight. Obviously, we wanted to win. We need a win for confidence. Even if we lose the series going into this ODIs, into the World Cup, it's okay. We just need a win so we can understand as a team we know how to win, and we can if we want to, and we really play well. But not looking too good in the SA camp. Very proud of Themba, though. Thanks, Lionheart. Good question. Both great players, and both played a really good hand in their team's success yesterday. Not so much for SA. Ace Loliet, what do you think about Quinton de Kock retirement announcement from ODIs? Not surprised at all, to be honest. Quinty is a very free spirit kind of character, which really enjoys his personal time. He's a very shy guy, and I have a lot of respect for him. The way he came through the system from a very young age. He's gone through a lot of challenges throughout his career, if I can call it that. And I've always had a lot of respect for his talent, his ability, but also his shyness. He's a bit of a different character. He's not going to want the lap of honor around the field. Very similar to me in that regard. It's no disrespect to anyone. It's just that I almost feel a bit shy sometimes. And I think when he's very similar, he's maybe a bit more extreme than me. But I see he's got a lot of criticism for not sharing his retirement plan with the whole world, and this guy's upset and that guy's upset. Leave the man alone, guys. It's his career. It all feels premature to everyone, but no one is in his shoes at the end of the day. So yes, obviously upsetting to me as well, disappointing. I want to watch him play for 100 years, but we all know that's not possible. He's a fantastic player. Let's enjoy him and celebrate him for one last time in this World Cup. And then at least we'll see him in T20 tournaments around the world. And I think if he made an honest call with himself, that's all he can handle going forward. Then fair enough, give the man his credit, give him his space, his privacy, and let him enjoy his life with his family. He loves fishing. He loves going out in nature. He wants to also live. All righty, that's my thoughts. Bit of an emotional answer because I went through exactly the same process as Quinny is going through. Obviously, we're not the same people, same persons. I had different areas in my career that made me feel tired, or made me feel shy, or made me want to get away a little bit from things. Quinny will have his reasons, and I personally don't feel he needs to explain it to anyone. He can just say, guys, thank you very much for all the support throughout my life and my career. I'm humbly standing in front of you and saying thank you, and thanks, cricket. And I'm pretty sure Quinny will give back one day as well. Thanks, Ace, for that question. You almost had me in tears there. SA Cricket Talent, I've seen your name before. Thanks for joining in again. I love interacting with you. Always good questions. What do you think Aiden needs to do to start nailing the ODI format? He has all the talent, but he can't look good for 30s and throw his wicket away. I know it's a shift you had to make in your career. Spot on. It is frustrating, and I'm pretty sure people were frustrated with me as well in my earlier days. Aiden has been playing for a while as well, but I must admit, I started when I was 20, only when I was 25, 26. You can even push that to 28, actually. But I remember 25 was a number that means 5 years of international cricket, playing all formats, right? That I start feeling comfortable and almost trusting my own game. So yes, unfortunately for Aiden, there's no time. He's running into a World Cup. He's got to put his leadership hat on. He's got to just make a plan to make those 30s into bigger numbers, because there's nothing more frustrating for a player than to get out in the 30s and 40s. All our batters have been guilty of that. Maybe Reza Hendricks is one that has been converting better than the others. Temba as well in the ODI format, but Temba in T20 is very naughty of getting out in 20s, 30s, 40s. But luckily he's broken those shackles in the last ODI series and also this one now. So Temba I'm very happy about. Reza I'm happy about. The rest of them need to start converting. We know Heinrich Klaasen is in incredible form. We know what David Miller can do at the back end. So that'll take a bit of pressure off Aiden. I know it frustrates Aiden, and I'm pretty sure we'll see him break the shackles. Let's hope in the biggest tournament of them all in this World Cup. So I have a lot of faith in this guy. I think he can play. I think he can be one of the best players in the world. And he needs to convert. He knows that. We don't have to tell him that. All right, thanks, SA Cricket Talent. Let's move on to the next one. Let me scroll a little bit here as well. My team in the back room there in India are working hard to get us some really good questions. I want to see some rugby questions as well. Who do I think is going to win the Springboks? Ajinkya Damdheri. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. I tried. Why have SA picked 6 paces for a World Cup in India? I covered that a little bit earlier. It is a tough call. I think we have a lot of faith in our batters and our spinners, and I don't think we have a lot of options. Maybe I see Bjorn Fortuin missed out. He's a fantastic player, very young guy. So yes, I can't tell you, to be honest. It's a really tough call. Maybe the coaches looked at our schedule. Maybe we're playing on wickets where paces are a bit more dangerous than the spinners. Mohali, I haven't seen the grounds we're playing at. I know we're playing in Kolkata. But let's see what happens. Guys, I think our spinners are good enough. We also have Aiden Markram who can do the off spin if we need him. But Keshav Maharaj and Tabraz Shamsi, Keshav, especially in last night's game, showed what he's capable of. Shamsi, we know what he can do. Not a lot of players in the world can pick him. But yes, you do have a point there. Maybe Fortuin should have been there. I do back the selectors. They had a job to do. They've done all their research, and for them to go for Gerald Coetzee, there must be good reasoning behind it. Maybe we'll do like the Springboks and dominate a bit up front, with our big, strong boys, and maybe that's the idea. I know the Indian wickets can be slow sometimes, but let's see what happens. All right, thanks, Jinka. Let's move on to. We've got some interesting names today. Tune Phone. Do Rugby Springboks have a better balance than 2019? Difficult call. I think the strength in 2019 was the bomb squad. That's what we call it in South Africa. That's where the substitute forwards come on and have a really big impact in the second half of a rugby match. And then not only that, we peaked at the right time in 2019. We played our best, literally our best rugby I've ever seen in the final against England. And if a team can do that, I mean, what a pleasure. That's what people dream of, Play your best game when it matters most. It's so difficult to get it right. To time that, I think athletes struggle with that as well. They got to time their Olympic years and the big runs they got to do exactly right. If you're a little bit off your game, like not even 1%, 0.1%, you end up not winning the race. So I think they have a better balance this year. There's one place where I'm a little bit worried, and that's number 10, or not number 10 per se, but the kicker. I don't feel we have a really reliable kicker for when it matters most in the quarters, semis, and finals, if we get to the finals. But there's always a very pivotal moment in the quarters or a semi-final where you have to put the 3 points over from a tough position. I think of all the World Cups, 95, Charles Stransky. I watched the 2003 final the other day, Johnny Wilkinson, putting kicks over when it really matters most, drop goals. 2007, Percy Montgomery for South Africa almost didn't miss a kick the whole tournament. 2019, Andre Pollard didn't miss a kick for South Africa when it mattered most against Wales, the semi-finals and also the finals. Really important momentum-building kicks. Marnie Libbok's fantastic 10. I think he's got all the game. I'm worried about his kicking. Let's hope he pulls it together for when it matters most. I know we got some backup kickers as well. Maybe Andre Pollard is there towards the back end of the World Cup. Who knows, if we get lucky, he gets into the squad. Sorry, that's something silly to say because you need an injury for someone else to come in. Let's not open injury on anyone, but I do think we need Pollard there at some stage. Bit of a controversial opinion. Anyway, let's move on from the Springbok Rappy now. All the best, Box. I know you guys are going to bring it home. Arpit Ambasta, thanks for the little 40 rupees, for the 40 rupees tip. Really appreciate it, my bro. Big fan, sir. Love you so much. Love you too. Thank you very much. And thanks, everyone, for joining in. Keep posting your questions. Time check, 8:26 over here in SA. I would say I've got about 14 minutes. So let's see how many questions we can run through. Rowdy Syringe. Tough to pronounce that one. Gurjar 001. Nice name. Sir, I love you so much that my hotspot password is AB de Villiers. Face red heart shape. That's a good one. Thanks for making me laugh on this beautiful Friday. Sir Hari, ABDV. Thank you very much for that. Hi, AB, your superfan is here. Thanks, superfan. I hope you're doing good. Yesterday, I won RCB quiz competition at RCB Bar. Wow, well done. At the RCB Bar and Cafe. I love that spot. It's a beautiful spot. There's a great vibe. And while coming to Bangalore, please bring your South Africa jersey and gift me with an autograph. Please, I'm going to frame it. Oh, tough one. I'm coming to India in October, November. I'm not going to be in Bangalore, unfortunately. We'll have to have a look at next year. I'm pretty sure I'll be there. A South African jersey. I'll see what I can do, Sri Hari. Maybe I'll find you there with the SA jersey. I'll do my best. Thank you very much for joining India. Bashir Khan, what do I say about Afghanistan cricket? So unlucky in that game. They lost. It's such a controversial thing that happened there with the coaches and the players and no one really knowing what was going on. Is it 37 overs, 37.1, 0.3, 0.4? South Africa's been in that position before in a World Cup that I wasn't a part of with Duckworth Lewis. Sometimes the game throws some curveballs at you and it's not easy to deal with when you end up on the wrong side of it. Unfortunately for Afghanistan, they finished on the wrong side of a bit of a technical game over there. It's unfortunate for them. We saw Rashid Khan's face afterwards. Very emotional, very disappointed. But I love the way they play. I've always enjoyed the way they play the cricket. The batters are very aggressive, and they don't take they don't take any prisoners per se. They really go after that white ball. And then their bowlers, the spinners in particular, are incredibly dangerous. Very skillful players. We've watched them in the IPL. They're everywhere and are always very humble and nice people as well, which I've always enjoyed about the team. Thank you very much, Bashir. They'll be back and they'll play some really good cricket in the future. There's no doubt about it. We see talent coming through every single year from over there. So lots of respect. Rishan Ramkumar Ganesan. Thoughts on players missing Test series versus New Zealand over SA20? Yes, it's a tough one. You're actually surprising me here. I haven't picked up on that. I take it you're playing, are you talking about SA players? Are they missing in Test series? Please maybe just send another post there. Give me a little bit more background on that one. I can't talk about something that I don't know about. I'm not sure which players you're talking about. But anyway, we'll get back to that one. Prasha, who is your role model in cricket? Oh, that's a tough one. Growing up, it was John T. Rhodes. I think I've mentioned this in many interviews before, purely about that 1992 World Cup run out. He ran Inzamam ul Haq out. I watched that live. 1992, I was 8 years old. And it had a huge impact in my life. I practiced that in the garden that day. I had grass burns all over my body because every day I was just diving. And I think that's maybe because I have back issues. Anyway, I also loved the way he played the game. Always a smile on his face, always anticipating an opportunity to win the game for his team. That's what I always loved about John T. Rhodes. And then I got to meet him and I got to play with him and I got to be under him with him as a coach in the team, as a fielding coach. And now we're just friends. I mean, what a dream come true for an 8-year-old boy to finally, late in his year, call his role model his friend. I mean, I can call John T and say, listen, Joe, what do you think about this? Or where are you now? What's happening? He's in Sweden. He lives in Sweden now. Very interesting move for him and his family. But I know He's always going to make a success out of everything he does with that attitude that he has. He's always got time for people, always a very passionate character, and I love spending time with him. He's meant a lot to me in my life. Thanks for that question. I hope I didn't bore you because I've mentioned this one before many times. Pindi boy, how do you see Pakistan before the World Cup, especially middle order? Yes, I think they always have a chance in the World Cup, especially now. But I would focus more on the bowling attack. I think the bowling attack is going to take them a long way. And then the top order, very solid. The middle order, it's tough to say. I see Rizwan's moved down a touch. And then, I mean, it's a tough position to bat at, 5, 6, 7. You can put 4 in there as well, but I'd say 5, 6, 7 is like the engine room in the World Cup. Those are the guys that handle the most pressure when, oopsie, we're 20 for 3, you know. So not always easy over there in the engine room. But I do think Pakistan has a really good chance to go a long way in this World Cup. I still feel India are favourites to win it. But Pakistan will have something to say about that, and also a couple of other teams. Don't be too surprised to see one of the not subcontinent teams over there in the semis and the finals. I think of England, Australia, hopefully South Africa. Anyway, thank you very much, Benny boy. I think Pakistan, they're in a good place at the moment. They do need some runs over there, 5, 6, 7 guys who are on form, but I have seen some of them play well. So let's see what they can do in the World Cup. Moving on, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Oreo Joyety. So I'm going to try and pronounce that. Thanks for that. How would you play Shaheen Afridi? How to score? So for me, left-handers, swinging the ball into me. Wait, let me show you from this angle. Into me. Yeah, something like that. So I would always cover the ball coming in. That's the way I played it. I always felt, and very similar to spin bowling as well. Left-arm spinners bowling the ball into my stumps. I hated getting out bowled or LBW. I felt it was always very soft. So I would face Shaheen expecting the ball to swing in. So very straight, hitting to mid-on and straight past him. Anything there coming in, I would be ready for that. And if he does that to me and he shapes it away to his slips, I would back my hands and my ability and my talent to either on a very late, in a late manner, let it go or play through the covers, you know. But yes, and unfortunately for the batters, he's pretty quick as well. So you can't really come out of your crease because that's another way to prevent the LBW and the bold dismissals. So you can't come out of the crease because he's got that short ball as well. But long story short, that's how I would play him. Look for the in-swinger, protect my stumps, but also like hurt him in that manner, you know. If he does swing it in, I want to score. I want to hit a straight drive 4. If he misses a little bit to the leg side, I want to flick him for 4. So that then I know I'm winning the battle, and he's got to err a little bit more towards the offside and start using that away shaper, because then his big lethal weapon is out of play, and that's always a great game plan to go to. Thank you very much for that question. Moving on here on 360 Live. Thanks for all your questions, people. I really appreciate it. It's nice interacting with you. I am a little bit in a hurry. That's why I'm flying through it. I'm talking as fast as I can because I have a golf day. With some really good friends at a place called Wingate Park in Pretoria. It's not the best course in Pretoria. It's a really good course, but Pretoria Country Club, just for all the South Africans listening in, Pretoria Country Club is the #1 course in Pretoria. Opinion on Sky and Sanju? Yeah, both incredible players. I am very relieved to see Sky in the World Cup squad. Very happy about it. You guys know I'm a big fan. He plays in a similar manner than I used to play my T20 cricket, but ODIs, he hasn't cracked it yet. It is a tiny little mind switch that he's got to make, and he's got all the ability and capabilities that he needs to do that. And I hope he gets his opportunity in this World Cup. I'm not sure yet. Looking at the balance of the Indian squad, he might not start, but a World Cup is a long tournament. So let's see what happens then. Sanju Samson, I mean, I don't have to say much about him. We know what he's capable of. I've been on the receiving end for RCB, watching him score 100 at the Chinnaswamy. The ball's flying all over the place. He's also got the conventional cricket game and technique where he plays straight bat, plays the ball nice and late. He's got a good pull and hook shot. He's got everything in his bag. It's all in the mind, and it's a matter of adapting to ODI game plans and making and the World Cup and the pressure thereof. So yes, 2 great players. And then moving on to the next one, we have 10 minutes left. So throw those questions in. Harlequins Cricket Club, Durban. I was about to say, this looks very familiar. How's it, AB? As a batsman, what's the best way to get your fitness up before the start of the season? Shuttles, intervals. I still do it to this day. I used to do a lot of long distance running, half marathons. But to be very honest with you, it's purely because I enjoy it, and that's how I grew up. My parents ran the Comrades many times. My one brother, Vessels, did the Comrades a few times. So it was just in the family. But if I think about it and what it does to the body to run long distance, long term, it's not really good for you, and it's not what you really need out in the middle doing sprints. So on my treadmill or out in the streets, I live in an enclosed area where the streets are very quiet. I literally put my stopwatch on. I sprint for a minute, or at least at 80 to 90%. I won't say sprint. And then I'll walk for 20 to 30 seconds, depending on how fit you are. If you're not that fit, do a minute on, minute off. So minute sprint, walk for a minute. Minute sprint, walk for a minute. If you're on the treadmill, I have a fantastic plan for you. I absolutely love this. I start on 12 kilometers an hour. I run for a minute. I rest for 20 seconds. Then I go to 12.5. 1 minute on, 20 seconds off. 13, 13 and a half, 14, 14 and a half. I work it up to 18. If I'm feeling very strong, even up to 20. If you're not that fit, work it to 16 and work it back. So from 12 to 16 in 0.5s, from 16 back to 12. It's a fantastic way to get fit. You can do 2 or 3 sets of it if it's not really getting you tired. But it's a lot easier on the body. It's not so hard on the knees as road running is and long distance running is. And then I do have a rowing machine in my gym. I love rowing and cycling. So I do a bit of cycling, actually elliptical. It works the whole body. And yeah, so that's the best way to get fit. And then lots of body exercises, body weight exercises. I don't like to lift too heavy. If I do dumbbells, I would go one arm raises, one arm there, lawn mowers where you get the shoulders back a touch. Sorry, I'm going on a lot here, but I really want to help you with this. And then core exercises and ab exercises, strengthening your back is probably the most important. I did it. This is what I focused on this entire week so far. There is an Instagram handle. Let me get it for you. I'm sorry, guys. I'm ranting on here, but it's really important. So I want to share this with you guys. And I love this. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Calisthenics. Yeah. Anyway, that's what it looks like. All right, go follow those guys. There's one particular exercise. It's a guy wearing army pants. He's got no shirt on, but it's all planking exercises, and it is incredibly good. It's so hard. I'm more out of breath after that than anything else. It is tough. So go follow that. I hope I answered your question. Sorry, it's so difficult to explain to you how I get fit. It's not as easy as you think. And then obviously nutrition, guys. Nutrition is crucial. I have my protein shakes. I have some other powders and stuff that gives me a bit of energy and helps me go a little bit longer in the gym. All those things are really important. But ultimately, eat healthy, drink a lot of water, do your exercises, and have enough rest at night. 8 hours of sleep, and you'll be sharp. All right, Harlequins Cricket Club, thanks for that. Pierre Roof, thank you very much for that. Pierre, tell me about David Miller, Sir AB. He is my love. David Miller, to start off, he's a fantastic person. He's a good friend of mine. And he's in love. I see he's gone down to the one knee. He's engaged now. I saw that on his Instagram profile. He also sent me a personal message and said, I finally did it. Because he was pushing on a bit, he's not 28 or 30 anymore. He's getting a bit older. But at the end of the day, there's no right age to get engaged or to get married or to get children. We're all different human beings on this planet Earth, and we all have our time, our right time for something and different phases in our lives. So David pulled the trigger there. He's engaged. Congrats, Dave and Camilla. I hope you guys all the best. I wish you guys all the best for that wedding planning. Hopefully it'll be soon. Hopefully I'll get an invite. Hint, hint. But David Miller is a fantastic guy, great player, and is a very, very important player for us in this World Cup. He will get tested at some stage, and we know what he's done before in the IPLs. He plays big roles for the Gujarat Titans at the back end of the innings. So expecting some of that in this World Cup from David Miller. Thanks, Pierre. I hope I pronounced that right. Karan, thank you very much, Karan. From AB Virat to Tilak Brevis bromance, I grew. You have seen Virat's journey from that 21-year aggressive lad to calm religious face. How did he switch? Yeah, so I think as people get older, you just mature. You also look around you. You get to mingle with more experienced older people as well. Where when you're younger, you see those people as your rivals and your opponents. Ultimately, you realize they're actually just very calm and relaxed, very experienced, old campaigners who know what they do and are very smart about the way they go about things. So Virat, as being a clever guy, picked up on some hints from other people, I would say, some coaches, some players, teammates. I think of Mark Boucher, who maybe played a big role in Virat's life when he was very, very young at RCB. Hopefully, I had a good influence on him as well, being a really good friend and just always there and someone to chat to, and always just encouraging him to keep that fire in his belly, but to stay calm about it. And he's found that right mix, and it's great to see him in that World Cup squad, in the shape that he is, in the form that he is. I can't wait to watch him go and do special things for Team India. So all the best, Virat and Team India. Thanks, Karan, for that question. And yeah, just quickly, Tilak and Brevis, I see they do get along very well. Two very, very talented players, and they're going to have huge careers in the future if they look after their bodies, after their form, after their minds. And if they pick brains of older people as well in the right way. You can't listen to everyone, but at the right things at the right time. Then they'll go a long way. Excuse me. Who's the toughest bowler to play, AB? Pratham Singh, thank you very much. The toughest bowler is a difficult question to answer because it went through phases in my life. So when I was very young, between 20 and 24, I would say Andrew Flintoff was the toughest bowler. And then when I was 22 to 27, Muhammad Asif was all over me. Shane Warne also played a bit of a part in the middle there. Very tough to face. He got me out a few times. Then a little bit later on in my career, tough to say. At times, Stuart Broad bowled really well at me and got me out a few times. In the test format, he was a fantastic bowler. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's retired now and he had a fantastic career. We covered him in depth with our one episode of the 360 show. Tough to say. Who else? Rashid Khan, I think, in the IPL. So that's one particular phase, again, last 4 or 5 years of my IPL career. Rashid was really good. Murali from Sri Lanka, there was a phase where he was tough to face. He didn't get me out a lot, but really difficult. But yes, there are lots of bowlers. It's difficult to put one name in because there's different phases of my career. When I was a bit younger, then you're out of form, then you're in form, then you're in super form where you just feel careless. You don't care about any bowler. So tough question, but I hope I answered it all right. Let's move on. Guys, we have 2 minutes. I'm going to take a couple of more questions. And before I take it, I want to thank you already for joining me. I hope you had fun. We're going to have one more session of this next week. And then we're going to change the format up a bit again and go into our traditional shows again. I want to keep you guys fresh. I want to keep you on your toes. So please subscribe to the channel and join me on this journey. There's lots of surprises coming up in the future. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to make sure you don't miss one of these episodes. And follow me on Facebook and Twitter and not Twitter, X and Instagram and all the socials to stay up to date with all this stuff. But thank you very much for supporting me. I do this because I love it, and I interacted on X with a lot of people the other night. I had a lot of fun because I was taking the mickey out of a lot of the comments. I posted something on X about the Pakistan-India game. I went back into X later and realized, hold on, it hasn't posted. I don't know if it's happened to any of you before. Then I realized, hold on, but this post is completely out of context now, and I tried to make up for it, and then I got a lot of comments from everyone. I had a lot of fun on there, so keep an eye out for that. I'll interact, and I love that. I love hearing your cricketing thoughts, your thoughts about life, about fitness, about nutrition, about mental health, about anything. I want to talk about life and things that I've learned in my career. So subscribe and stay in contact with me. That's what I want to do, and I want to spend a lot of time in India with my travels there in the IPL. That's going to happen for a long time to come. So there will be some physical interaction, hopefully, where we'll get to meet some fans. And as I mentioned in that last episode as well, I want to do good, not only in India, but around the world, wherever I go, in South Africa as well. I want to do some campaigns where I get to interact with you guys, where we do some challenge together. I'm still brainstorming that one. I'm still getting some people on board to get that in place. I have this idea of building a house for someone who doesn't have a home, and I'm going to need hands to lay the bricks. So, and maybe moving from town to town. I mentioned that last time as well. I have this idea of walking a long distance or cycling and getting to places and playing cricket in a park with people, and then moving on to the next town. That's all to come. You're going to miss out if you're not on this channel, because I'm going to be picking people on here. That's the idea. And also people to join in with the Make a Difference organization. It's a fantastic charity where we help a lot of people over there in India. So join that as well. They're on Instagram. They do incredible work. It's all volunteering work. So you guys can join by volunteering. It's all on Instagram, on the social media handles. One last question. Thank you very much for joining me. And the last question is going to be, let's have a look here. Yogesh, AB sir, what is your favorite Indian food? Good one. So I start in the mornings with a dosa, a masala dosa. I just love that. I have a bit of scrambled egg with that dosa, and I combine it with a bit of just normal fresh fruit from India. It's always a bit sweeter than any other place. I love that. But the dosa in the mornings, in the afternoons, just tandoori chicken. I keep it very light. I don't want to go too heavy. Maybe I'll have some dal makhni with that, or dal tadka. It's the yellow dal and the black dal. I prefer the black one, even though it's a little bit more unhealthy. I think there's a bit more cream in that one, but it's so tasty. But you can have that for lunch, because you're going to burn it off in the afternoon, right? You're going to be active. And then in the evenings, I normally go for just this very basic salad. I prefer the Caesar salad with no anchovies, because I don't enjoy anchovies. Just a Caesar salad, but then I have those chicken pieces on there again. The Indian chicken pieces, the tikka chicken or the tandoori chicken. Tandoori chicken I love cutting off and just like spraying over that salad. I love Indian food. It's very tasty. Us Westerners, or whatever you want to call us, South Africans, Australians, Americans coming to India, we always go for the plain butter chicken with a garlic naan. That's the stock standard, but I've grown out of that. That's a little bit too unhealthy. It's very, very, very tasty, so it's tough to say no to. But I got a bit better now with picking out the best Indian foods. The great sushi restaurants in India as well. In Bangalore and Mumbai, I've eaten at some great restaurants. But yeah, the cuisine is just fantastic. Some of the tastiest foods around the world you'll find in India. So for those of you who are not from India, do go and visit, especially during IPL, because you will experience an atmosphere that you've never seen before. And maybe during this World Cup, I will be there around October, November, and I will see all of you there. We're going to have a lot of fun. Go Team South Africa, go Team India. And thank you all for joining me on this week's 360 show. It was a 360 live show, and I had a lot of fun with all of you. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic Bok Friday. Go South Africa. Go 95, 2007, and 2019, and 2023. I'm just kidding. Go Box, and have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Lots of love from the 360 show. Cheers for now.